Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at how to help an unconscious casualty that you found in lots of interesting positions. And this video has actually been requested by Joanne, who's one of our subscribers. So don't forget, if you would like a topic covered, please just leave a comment below or message me and I will do my best to try and cover that topic. Obviously on first aid and health and safety though. Okay, so let's talk about an unconscious casualty. In previous videos, we've already kind of addressed as a first aider how we help someone that's unconscious. But normally that casualty is always like in a coffin-like position, lying flat on their back, which we know is not always the case when you find someone unconscious. But the process is still the same. So we still do DRAB, danger response airway breathing. So we still need to make sure the area is safe for us to be able to go and help them, just in case maybe they've been electrocuted, or maybe they're unconscious due to somebody being in the room, or maybe they're unconscious or due to smoke or gas being present in the room. So we must make sure it is safe for us. And then we're going to check for a response. We're going to see if we can wake them up by shouting, making a loud noise, or maybe just gently squeezing their shoulders to try and wake them up. No response? We would say they were unconscious. That is when we need to make sure we open the airway, because the airway could be blocked by their tongue. So if someone's laying flat and their head is in this neutral position, the airway potentially could be blocked. So we must fully extend the airway so the head goes all the way back to fully extend it at the neck. That will move the tongue out of the way. And it doesn't matter what position somebody's in, you can still fully extend their head. So if they're on the back, tip it back. If they're on a chair, all you need to do is a head tilt and chin lift and tip the head all the way back to fully extend. And then we're looking and we're listening and we're feeling for normal breathing. Now, adults should breathe roughly 2 times in 10 seconds. So we're looking for at least 2 breaths. It might be faster, but we're looking for them to breathe at least twice. So looking for their belly to go up and down at least twice. We will be covering in a later video agonal gasps, which is not normal breathing. So look out for that in the upcoming weeks. Now, if this person is breathing, great news, we still need to make sure we call the emergency medical services and we need to make sure we maintain the airway. Now, in first aid courses, you might have learned how to do the recovery position. Recovery positions are perfect and really good at maintaining someone's airway. And also if the person's sick, it's going to make sure the fluid drains out of their mouth. But what would you do then? Got a broken leg or broken arm, and you can't move them into the recovery position, or you just can't remember how to do it. Well, as we said before, all you need to do is maintain an airway. So just tip the head back and keep your hands on the airway while you direct other people around the room to go and get help for you. But if you're by yourself at home, say, you can't just maintain an airway easily, because if you open the airway and let go, it will close. So if you had to go to open the front door, find your phone, then the airway might be closed and it could be blocked, and they could therefore not be breathing normally. And also if they were going to vomit, potentially they could choke on their own vomit before you've got back to help them. So maintaining an airway is great if you have lots of other people around and you can just keep the airway open, because you can then deal with any vomit by pushing them over if they start to be sick. But if you are by yourself, you need to be able to put them on their side with the airway open, and this is called the recovery position. So let's just talk through the recovery position again. We need to put the arm closest to us, out 90 degrees to the body. We're then going to lean over the body and we're going to grab the leg and the hand that's furthest away. Then we'll lean over the casualty and grab their furthest away hand and bring it towards the cheek that is closest to me. And I will hold the hand against their cheek. So I'm going to grab the leg with upwards and then kind of push a shin so the foot moves towards the bottom, and then give that a big cuddle to hold it in place so it doesn't flop around everywhere. Then all I need to do is make sure my knees are out of the way of the hips and just push their knee so they roll towards me. I get the knee up nice and high so it's 90 degrees to the body. Make sure the knee's on the floor, and normally the elbow I try and make sure it goes on the floor as well. And then the final thing is maintain the airway. So tip the head back to keep that airway open. So that is the recovery position. So that's how to help someone if they're unconscious and breathing normally. And also if they don't have any injuries. But not everyone, as we said, is going to lie and collapse like that. So let's see what we do if someone's on the sofa. What is it we're going to do? We'll do exactly the same. We go up to them, we check the air for danger, we check for response, we open the airway, we look, listen, feel for normal breathing. And if they are breathing normally, I'm probably going to leave this casualty where they are, because the chances of me lifting them from here to the floor by myself is going to be probably quite difficult and very unlikely. I would only have to move them if they were not breathing. So I'll probably go out and get help from my neighbours if need be, because I wouldn't be able to lift them to the floor myself. Or if I absolutely had to get them to the floor myself, we just need to make sure the most important bit of their body is their head, and the head doesn't just go bash on the floor. But not everyone collapses like that, do they? Some people can collapse face down. So let's talk about exactly what we're going to do then. So we'll come in the room, we'll check the air for danger, we'll check for response. No response. You can't really open the airway in the position they're in, but I can look, listen and feel for normal breathing by looking at their back, because their lungs are in the centre of the chest. If I can see their belly going up and down, I'll definitely be able to see their back going up and down. So I'm going to look to see if I can see them breathing. And if they are breathing, I'm going to leave them there, because I'm not quite sure what's caused them to be there. You know, they might have tripped over something and they've gone down and the head's flown back. So now we're thinking spinal injuries. Or maybe they've landed on something as well. So if I am 100% sure they are breathing normally, I'm going to leave them where they are and I'm going to call the emergency medical services. If I am not sure they are breathing normally, so if I do not know they're breathing normally, I can't see if they're breathing normally, I am going to have to turn them, no matter what. I'm going to have to turn them over, because remember, breathing always comes first. You know, it's no point helping someone with a broken leg, a broken arm if they're not breathing. We always need to make sure we treat breathing issues, then bleeding issues, and then broken bones. So breathing issues are always going to come first. There is one exception to that, and that will be catastrophic bleeds. But in this case, we're not talking about that. So if I don't know this person is breathing, what I must do is turn them over. Now, if you do suspect a spinal injury, it would be great if you could turn them over with a team of people by doing a spinal log roll. So that's keeping the head in line with the body and gradually all turning them at the same time so the head stays in line with the spine. But we're not normally with a lot of people or a team of people that will understand how to turn them quite quickly. So if you are by yourself, you're going to turn them by doing this. You're going to put the arms up like they're flying through the sky, like Superman. Just bearing in mind how the arm moves, it doesn't just go up and over, it will have to come around the side first. And the reason we put the arms up is because the arms goes out at 90 degrees and you pull them over, it's going to dislocate or hurt the shoulder. And if the arms are down by their bottom and you try and pull them over, well, it's going to be quite difficult. It's like going over a speed hump. So the arm definitely next to you needs to be above the head, but I would always put the other one up as well, just to make it easy to remember, really. So arms up, and then reach over and grab the shoulder and the hip, move your knees away a bit, just so there's enough room for them to be able to roll, and then pull them over to the halfway stage, and then catch the head as you move your knees out of the way. I will then lower the arms back down, if you remember. If you don't worry. And then open the airway and look, listen and feel for normal breathing. And if they are breathing, great news. I will just maintain the airway where they are. I wouldn't move somebody in a recovery position, especially if I'm worried about any injuries they might have. I would just maintain that airway. Unless I had to leave them, then I would have to move them in the recovery position because I don't want the airway to be blocked. And if they aren't breathing, we will do CPR. And remember, I'll leave a link for that video as well down below and also just up above for you, so you can have a look at how to do CPR, or just to recap those skills. So it doesn't matter what position someone is in, you will still always do the primary survey. Danger response, airway, breathing. And if they are breathing, your job is to maintain the airway. And if you can't tell they're breathing, you're going to have to move them so you can assess their breathing, because breathing is the most important thing. I will also leave a video for you as well for the spinal recovery position, because if you were by yourself, there is a position you could put somebody in if they have a spinal injury. And I will leave the link for that video down below and just up here as well for you, just so you can have a look at that. But remember, it doesn't matter what's wrong with them, breathing will always come first. So even if you do suspect a spinal injury, you must always make sure they are breathing first. But try and limit the amount of damage you do to that spine by moving them the least amount that's possible. Thanks so much for listening, guys. And if you would like a video, don't forget to leave a comment below and I will try my best to cover a topic that interests you. And please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. Thank you so much for listening.